You are listening to the Red Pill Chronicles, where we help awakening souls deal with the blue pill world. I'm your host, John Dennison, and together we'll explore how to take an inner approach to your outer affairs so you can build a better life and a better world to live it in. Greetings, my friend. Welcome back to the Red Pill Chronicles. I'm John Dennison, your host, and today we're going to be talking about doing what you're called to do. Again, before we get started, if you need to reach me in any way, please visit me at johndennison.com, my name site. It is a portal to all of my work. All right, getting back to doing what you're called to do. This program today is a message for a group of people that I call awakening servers. To summarize, awakening servers are those who are beginning to awaken to their spiritual identity and are feeling or hearing a call to add some contribution to the reality in which they find themselves. Ra, in the Law of One, called them wanderers. And it was basically two actually separate groups of people. The first are those who were here on Earth and evolving through it as Earth is evolving, who are awakening themselves and feeling that this contribution is there to be made them as part of their awakening process. And the second is a group that have come from other dimensions, other planets, other places within the cosmos, migrated here for the express purpose not only of experiencing the reality as it is unfolding now, but also to add some contribution to that reality. The reasons for that are personal to each of them, as well as to all those who are here. So these wanderers are the ones to whom I'm speaking. If you have followed the work of David Wilcock at all, you would know that he has talked about the wanderers. And this, I encourage you to read the books of the Law of One, but it's not essential. It's really just to understand reasons why you're not feeling like you're part of the world. And for many of us, it's like the world is going one way and we feel like we're going somewhere else. And this is a common characteristic for these awakening servers. And today, doing what you're called to do is really practicing an art, what I call the art of awakened service. Awakened service is basically bringing to bear all of the ideas and principles and perspectives that you have been developing in the process of your awakening to the concept of using those within your life, within your world. And service can take many, many, many different forms. It can be adding some contribution, like just raising your family and loving the people who come across your path and seeing that as what you feel called to do. Or it can be adding some contribution through writing a book or writing music or creating some work of art, or in other cases, to undertake a mission to make a difference. That would be where the focus is actually to go out and do something in service to others or service to God. Generally speaking, awakened service does not include serving yourself solely, but it can. If that's the path that you have chosen, that your soul has chosen for your evolution, the path of serving self, well, then doing things that serve, that benefit you, would of course be advancing that path. And again, I'm not making a judgment as to whether it's good or bad or right or wrong to be service to self or service to others, because we all find ourselves at various places along this path at different points in our lives and at different points in our existence, assuming that you believe that your existence encompasses more than this life. And if you don't, that's okay. It's the service to others is basically doing God's commandment to love each other. And the service is the method that you choose to express that love to others. So awakened service, it's an act of love and an expression of what's inside of you and what you feel you have to give to the world that is done from a perspective of your own evolution, your own spiritual journey. And again, the spiritual journey is very important to those on the path because the act of service is one of the steps through which you will advance. It is the process, or at least begins the process, of integrating your inner and outer worlds. And by inner and outer worlds, let's take the inner world as being the world of your thoughts and mind, and then it goes deeper to thoughts, the world of the non-physical reality of the soul and whatever else lies within that. And of course, your outer world is the physical, linear reality in which you find yourself living your life. And and I speak a lot about the outer world. And when I do speak about the outer world, sometimes it's important to understand that even part of your thoughts, your conscious part of your thoughts, is part of that outer world because it creates that outer world. So that when I get to those points, I'll try to make distinctions. I'm not sure I'm going to get into that today, but if I do, understand that the outer world is referring to the physical reality you find yourself in, the actual life you're living within that reality. Now, if you're an awakening server, many times you may find yourself switching into an altruistic frame of mind where you are just doing and giving almost to the point of depleting yourself. And I don't ask you to do that. In fact, I don't ask you to do anything, but I want you to understand you've got to be very careful with your energy when you are serving, because anyone who has been involved with any sort of a NGO or a philanthropic effort will know that the organizations run off volunteers and they'll take all that you can give and they'll ask you for more. In fact, they'll suck you dry if they can, whether it's your money or your time or your attention. And so there is a balancing effort in the giving process that the server has to learn in order to make sure that they do not become depleted and that that their life takes a back seat to the efforts that they're trying to make in the world. Your life is important. Your life is the reason you're here. So that your efforts to serve, your efforts to add a contribution have to fall within the context of that life and the reason of why that life is unfolding the way that it is. Because again, everything in your life is all about you. Not from a selfish standpoint, but from a standpoint that these energies are interacting with the inner energies that you have within to create experiences for you. And it's through these experiences that you evolve and grow, and that your consciousness expands, or at least shifts to different perspectives and can focus on the different things that may be important for your situation. So, again, it's this balance that I ask you to try to find where you are serving not just the needs of your mission and not just the needs of other people, but your own needs as well. Because if you don't, you're going to find yourself all dried up and you'll have nothing left to give. And you could find yourself being bitter and frustrated and angry with yourself and with God for going on this path. So again, try to take somewhat of a Taoist approach to this and find a place of balance within all of this that works to maintain you throughout the process. Because again, this process is what it's bringing to you, to your life, to your experiences here. Your mission, while it seems to be for other people or to help other people, is really about you It's about creating experiences for you by which to better know and experience yourself. Now, today, you'll find that I'm going to use a method of discussion here, which is more aptly described a Socratic method than a lecture where I am just telling you information. I'm going to ask you questions. And these questions are designed to elicit your thoughts and actions. So please, listen all the way through to this podcast to try to get the big picture. And then if you really want to work on it and try to work on your mission and work on yourself in conjunction with your life, go back then and do it again, but this time with a piece of paper. And take notes. Write down the questions I ask. Because those questions are going to lead you to understanding things about yourself and your life and your mission that I can't really give you answers to. I can only ask questions. I can only lead you to the process by which you can integrate your mission into the life you're living and into the experiences that your soul is trying to get through that life. So as you do, and then you consider these questions, and your mind's going to start thinking about the questions as I'm asking them. But they're going to come at you pretty fast, so I don't want you to get too caught up on them. And you need to finish each one and work with it. But you need to do so in a way that's going to give you the time to give it your best attention. Again, should you choose. If you don't find this information of value or interest to you, there's no need to do that. But if you're really trying to understand your mission and understand yourself and the experiences of your life, I really encourage you to do that. Now, when I ask these questions, I want you to consider them wisely. Whatever wise means to you. But to me, that means both rationally. In other words, working through the process of the various questions logically in light of the things that you know or think you know about yourself. But also the response, examining the responses they trigger within you. What kind of responses? Well, what are the thoughts that they trigger? What are the thoughts you have about yourself or your mission or whatever as you're going through this? The next side of your inner process again are your emotions. So your thoughts and emotions are important because they're going to give you a glimpse into your inner world. And if you listen to our last episode, that was all about the energies of conflict and primarily those that run within you. So I encourage you to go back and listen to that if you haven't. That would be, I think, episode 13. In addition to your thoughts and emotions, though, you should try to feel the vibration of the different issues we talk about today. Because your vibration, and it's this issue of a vibrational awareness that I want you to begin to consider. Everyone talks about raising your vibrations or doing this and doing that. And obviously, if you're in a depressed state, you know that your vibration is down. And if you're in an excited state, or a happy state, your vibrations are up. What I want you to do is begin to learn to recognize the vibrations that you're in. Not to change them, but just to know what it is that you're experiencing in this moment. It's so crucial that you understand what you're getting. Life is lived now, and those vibrations and thoughts and emotions are all what is bringing to you. And everything that happens in your reality, everything in that manifest world out there is involved with those. And so you're looking for that interaction. You're looking to see the relationship between all that they all have to each other, as well as to the affairs of your outer world. And as you're looking at these thoughts and emotions and vibrations, now I want you to say, what are my physical reactions? What am I feeling in my body? Am I feeling a rush of adrenaline? Am I feeling at ease? Am I feeling tension anywhere? So you start learning to read your body as you are going through your life and considering the issues of your life. Because these are, excuse me, these are signposts that tell you what your life is bringing you. And they shape the experiences, again, that your inner filters then they distort in one way or another. So if you look at last episode, you begin to see what those inner distortions are. And now you're looking at the actual processes of the energies working within you. And then you're going to need to, at some point, figure out, well, where are my distortions impacting how I'm responding to my mission. And of course, to the questions that I'm going to ask you today. So let's begin. The first thing I want you to do is to take stock. Where are you now? I'm not talking about your physical location, though that might be important in terms of how you answer the question for yourself. But where are you now within your life? At what stage of your life are you in? How did you get here? What is it about where you are that has to do with what you're trying to do or where you're trying to go? Because if you don't understand how you got here, you're not going to be able to put your sense of mission into context. This calling didn't come out of nowhere. It didn't just suddenly, poof, appear. That Spirit popped into you and decided to give you this information or inspiration or direction or however it is playing out for you. It happened over a course of time. And the course of time is your life is, that's what you're here for, is your life. So you need to understand, where have you been and where are you trying to go? And as you begin to look at your life and say, well, who are you as you have created yourself in this life? What have you created yourself to be? What are the attributes that you bring to your life and that you're going to bring to your mission? And which of the attributes that you've brought into your life don't fit with that mission? Because it's going to be essential in terms of getting the lessons of the experiences for you to be able to work consciously with those toward your own evolution. Again, this all moves toward how you are choosing to evolve yourself. So my next question then becomes what is your life all about? Look at that life. What is it about? What are the nature of the experiences that you've been getting? You're going to find that there are what I call watershed events. These are major events in your life. They may be minor events, but they're things that stick within your memory as you're considering these issues or considering how you deal with your mission, which impact how you conduct yourself. In my own life, I can tell you that there have been a number of these watershed events that they just keep cropping up, and the lessons keep cropping up over and over and over again. So as you begin to see these watershed events and you start seeing the patterns that have played out in your life, you're going to get a picture for what your soul is trying to accomplish through the individuated ego that you are here as. There is no separation between your life and your evolution and your mission. They're all part of the same process. And sometimes your efforts are going to be contributing to that in one way or another, and they may be contributing at another time in something else. So it's important to understand your life because that's going to put your mission into context. And there are some things in your life that I want you to look for. Like, what are your life threads? What are the issues of this life that we just talked about that are coming forward and that these watershed events may be reinforcing or pointing you towards? What are the energetic patterns of your thoughts and emotions? And how do those interact with those life threads? I know everybody talks about tests and lessons and things, and it's nice to think in those terms, but they're really just experiences. And you can see them however you like, but experience is participatory sport. It's something that you do. It doesn't just happen to you. There's an inner process that goes into the life that you're living. So as you look at these life threads and life lessons, you start to consider, well, what were the inner experiences that they were bringing me? And how are those inner experiences impacting what I'm trying to do now? Again, what I'm trying to do is get you to take a picture of what your life is so that you can see your life, kind of like a life review. And for those on the spiritual path, those life reviews are something that's an ongoing process. At least when you get to a point of awareness that this is indeed what your soul is gathering these experiences for. And within those life threads and life experiences, you're going to see repetitious energies that keep coming back over and over again. And they may not be with the same person. They may not be in the same situation. If you find yourself being fired from a job over and over again, if you find yourself getting into rebellious situations with authority, if you find yourself playing the victim, these are often what we call karmic echoes. It's the impact of past experiences that have come back again to allow you to try to meet them in another way. But when they keep repeating themselves as part of those life threads, those karmic echoes are probably as a result of the fact that you keep meeting it in the same old way and getting the same old result. And as we all know, insanity is expecting things to change when you keep doing the same thing over and over again. It isn't going to. And that's sort of what these karmic echoes are. They give you the opportunity to try to meet the energies of a situation a little differently. And when you shift to another approach, to another perspective, to another system of beliefs, sometimes you will be able to engage those energies in ways that allow you to resolve them so they don't keep coming over again. And so these echoes are involved with your life threads, and they make up what you consider life lessons. When, again, it's all about the experience. So what I want you to do on your mission, again, we're starting with looking at yourself, because it's about you. It's about you and your relationship with your world, your relationship with God, and your relationship with the other people. So you're not going to be able to look at that relationship until you know where you stand. And what you're going to find is that you're not necessarily consistent from day to day. Your energy fluctuates. It's going to ebb and it's going to flow, just like your attention will, just like your intentions will. What you want may change, but you're not going to know that until you look at yourself. All right, now, assuming that you have or are doing all of that, then it comes to the stage of the calling itself, the sense of having a calling, that there is some inspiration or inner guidance or a nudge that is pushing you out of your status quo to do something different, to do something, perhaps to contribute, to do something. It's an application of your creative energies that is calling you to do. It's calling you to take the energies that you have within you and to use them in a particular form. What do I mean by creative energies? First, understand that our world that we see, this physical world, is shaped and indeed created by the collective consciousness that has gone into our reality. That is the contribution of every person and being, of course, of any kind, including animals and plants and so forth. And the earth itself as to what is all contributing their energies into this collective consciousness, which begins to shape the way things play out. So we all have creative energies. We come into this life with our physical energies, obviously, of what we decide to do. But we have our mental energies. We have our relationships and how we deal with other people, and how we approach our lives. We have the contributions we make through our creative gifts, like our skills and creativity, and all of those things that make up you. These energies of various kinds that you have within your disposal are what you are contributing to this collective consciousness. So, in your calling or your sense of calling that you have, it is important that you understand what you're contributing to your reality. And you may not think you're contributing anything to the reality if you've withdrawn from your outer world and you're taking up a hermetic life. But again, your absence from the lives of others is, in a sense, a contribution to them. It allows them space, grow, to do what they will, where your will, your free will, is not interfering with theirs. Or it could be where you feel like you have to go do something, and you want to do it, and come hell or high water, you're going to do it. And the effort to do that is an application of your creative. So it's important for the awakening server to understand how and where their creative energies are being expressed, because that's the direction that the call is nudging you in. So what is this call? What is this inspiration? What is this gift, perhaps, or curse, if you're asking you to do? And how do you find it? And this brings me to what I call the inner voice. Now, actually, there are many inner voices, and it's going to be up to you to begin to hear them and understand how each of them are interacting and their purpose. But the inner voice, actually, that I'm referring to at this moment is the inner voice of the soul. It is your connection to God that is filling you with life, filling you with the energy to live, filling you with the reason for being. And part of listening to your inner voice is beginning to turn a portion of your attention inward. So you become in-facing toward what is going on inside of you, as opposed to what most people are, is just totally out-facing to the life and world that they're in. So the awakening server is going to have a part of their attention always monitoring what's going on inside. And then there's going to be two issues involved here with that are important in terms of using the inner voice or working with the inner voice, which are discernment and free will. And discernment is going to be your ability to understand what it's telling you and putting it into context. And that's and part of the discernment process are all of those energies, the thoughts and beliefs, and the whole inner flow of energy within you, your emotions, everything, your response patterns. All of that is part of what you need to begin to pick up within yourself. But discernment in the inner call is not always just about you and what's going on inside you. It's always the discernment of the events around you and the sense of synchronicity of those events and the meaning that you assign to them or you believe is assigned to them. Whether it is or it isn't, since you have made that choice or that perspective, taken that perspective, how are you going to use it? What are you doing with it to let it shape or not shape your efforts in your mission? Free will again, is the central principle under which this reality was created, means that once you have discerned all these things, you have to decide what to do with them and how to do it. And while you may get these inspirations from Spirit, what you choose to do with them is, and how you exercise your free will, is often a matter of the distortions of your ego and how it interprets and wants to apply those energies. So again, free will is always at play in your mission. And not just your free will, but the free will of the society and culture that you're in, and the free will of the people you're trying to help. Because if they don't want your help, and you try to force it upon them, or they want a different kind of help, and you only want to give a certain type, we have a disconnect. And when you have that disconnect, it sets off other karmic geckos that are going to be playing off down the road. And also it creates energetic impasses that you're going to have to address at some point if you are going to be able to move forward. So again, your mission in answering the call and the exercise of free will and the engagement of your free will with other people's free will is, again, part of the art form and the experience that those interactions bring is as much the reason and the purpose behind your mission as anything you're going to do for others or create. So again, see these inner energies and how they're interacting with the inner energies and outer energies in your world from other people. It's just, while it's about you, it's about your relationship with that world and the relationship of your inner world and how they both interact together. Again, we're looking to integrate your inner and outer worlds. This is the process of ascension, is the integration of the inner and outer worlds. And when you get to the point that you can sufficiently integrate them, then you will graduate and move on to other experiences elsewhere, or perhaps here. So, going back to your sense of calling, let me ask you a question. Why you? Why are you the one who is selected to do what you're doing? I don't have an answer for you. That's something you have to answer for yourself. And again, all these answers to the questions I'm asking will change depending upon where you are in the process of your own awakening and efforts to serve. So why you? Why are you given this information? Why are you given this sense of calling? Why are you given this contribution to make to your reality? The next question that goes with that is, why this life? If you believe in multiple lifetimes, reincarnation, so to speak, why is this calling taking place in this life? What is it about this life that makes it special? Why is this mission special for this life? And perhaps most importantly, why now? These are the questions that you, as we were taking stock before, will now have some perspective with those. If you answered those questions before, we'll now have some questions to answer. Why you and why this life and why now? Because those are going to guide you in what you do next. They're going to give you an indication of where you're going and why you want what you want. And most importantly, what are the distortions you have inside that are impacting what you're trying to do? And again, if you have any questions about the egoic distortions, go back and listen to the last podcast. The distortions, everything is a distortion but there are specific distortions that make up you and shape the way that you are. And it's important to understand those distortions and why you and what they offer you to you that make you the way you are. Okay, let's move on. Perhaps the most important step if you're trying to develop a mission to make a difference is to get clear on your intentions. So what is it that your inner voice is asking you to do, or that your thoughts are asking you to do? Or if you're speaking to some unseen master or angel or guides or whatever, what are they suggesting that you do? And understand, I don't care how that's put to you. It is not mandatory. It is a suggestion for you to consider, for you to evaluate in the process that we've gone through here, so that you can see where you're going to go with this. So what's it asking you to do? What specifically is your intention? What are you trying to accomplish? I would bet that most people that undertake a mission aren't really clear on what their intentions are. There are often superficial intentions built upon a desire to do or accomplish something. But are those the only intentions at work? Are there deeper intentions within you? Is there perhaps some effort at propping up your identity or making you feel good about yourself? Or is there an intention of your soul that's at work behind these experiences? And that's where you really got to go deep to understand that the intentions of the ego are not the intentions of the soul. And it's only through the inner voice that you're going to be able to start understanding the difference. You can learn more about how to prepare your energy field so you can hear your inner voice through my book, Whispers in the Silence. That's what it was about, which was the cultivation of the energy fields and understanding a lot of these different lessons that you've learned over the years and what they really have to do with your whole process of awakening. But as you clear these energy fields of the muck and the mud, that's the impurities within them, and you start quieting yourself so that you can focus on what it is asking you to do, and you start forming your intention. Or is this a response to uncertainty, that you're going to step forward to a certain place and then take a look around to see where you're at and decide, well, what? And if you are sure, how are you sure? What is it that's making you giving you this impression that this is exactly what you have to do? Where does it fit within what you think you know about yourself and the life that you're living? I mean, your mission is part of your life. It's going to be a major part of the effort of your focus. So how does it relate to what your life is all about? And again, it's not just about where you are. It's where are you going? Where are you trying to go? What is it you're really trying to do? Because once you decide that, then you have to choose your path and how you're going to get there. Those who hear their inner voice and live by the light of the soul can take their free will out of it. They basically set aside what they want and choose to follow the inner voice. But the inner voice doesn't necessarily lead you to what you want. It's going to tend to lead you toward the experiences that your soul wants you to have. So again, what you're doing when you're following your inner voice, now you've changed the context of your mission from doing what your mind thinks it wants to do to putting yourself in a space of surrender to be guided to where your soul needs you to go, or where God needs you to go. And this is, you hear about this in a lot of different religions, particularly the Abrahamic religions, of doing the will of God. Well, when you're doing the will of God, you're not doing your will, are you? So, what does it have to do with you? I mean, who are you trying to serve? Are you trying to serve God? Are you trying to serve yourself and your own evolution? And if so, why? What is it about it that makes you so focused upon trying to make yourself into something other than what you are? Again, your mission is a means to accomplish what you are called, what you came into this life to do, to learn, to become, to take from it. And maybe it is about totally selfless service of others, of giving absolutely and totally all that you have and then giving some more. Or maybe it's about finding a balance that serves both you and others. So I ask you, who is your mission intended to serve? Is it serving you? Is it serving God? Is it serving others? It would be nice to be thinking that you can serve all three together at the same time. But if you've ever been on a teeter-totter, rarely does it stop in the middle where both sides are balanced evenly. And in here you've got a three-way teeter-totter between you, God, and others. So that place of balance is going to be fleeting. It's going to be continually tipping toward one side or another, so you're going to have to make your adjustments. So which way are you going to let your teeter-totter go? I'm trying to picture a three-way teeter-totter. That would be actually very interesting to have a triangular teeter-totter. But that's sort of what we're talking about here, is that you're having to find a state of balance that serves the life you're here to live. And I don't know what your life is about, and maybe you don't know what your life is about, and that's why you've got to go back and do the work of taking stock of why you're here and what your life is about. Because that's going to enable you to set the point of balance. But again, as you move throughout your life, as circumstances change, as you interact with others, as you communicate with God and receive communications from Him, or hear her, or it, or the Tao, or however you want to see God, or your soul, where is that impacting and how is it impacting your point of balance? Again, it's balance that I want you to find. The balance that is going to serve the life you came to live. This sounds very selfish, but your mission is about you. Its intention that you're working from may be in service of others. But ultimately, that service of others is about you and your return to oneness. The dissolving of the illusions of separation that you use to keep you ignorant that you are all that is. So how's your mission doing that? And where is the point of balance that's going to allow you to see it? Now, a mission or a calling comes with a sense of purpose. And that purpose can be so strong and pervasive that your life you can't do anything but that. Or it can put you at odds with the other life that you have, and then you find yourself having to make a choice that the life you had doesn't fit anymore. And what has started off as an interest or a hobby now becomes a self-fulfilling prophecy that you're going to go off and give yourself to the world to fulfill this purpose, whatever it is. But understand that the process of you fulfilling that purpose is creating experiences. You're choosing how you're going to create those experiences and how you're going to interact with them and what you're going to take from them. No one else. And if they're not bringing you peace, if they're not bringing you joy, if they're not bringing you the so-called success or results that you want, like supporting you so that you can live, then why are you doing it? There's got to be a reason. Understand the purpose. The purpose, that's the context behind the mission itself. But many times, I see people that get inspiration and they decide to do something with that inspiration. They write a book, write a song, create a work of art, and that is great, and that is beautiful, and that is wonderful. And then comes the next step, and that's when they hit the wall, which is taking that mission, taking that creation, that expression of your creative energies out to the world and doing something with it, whether it's giving it to others, whether it's sharing a message, whether it's selling your wares or your intellectual property, or trying to become a rock star, whatever it's calling you to do, the effort to take your creation out to the world is a second stage of the creativity. The creativity part is the fun part. But taking it out to the world is the work. But oftentimes most people hit the wall where they don't achieve what they wanted to achieve. It becomes a matter of a frustration of purpose that their life doesn't do what they want it to do. They're not able to accomplish what they feel called to do. Frustration of purpose is a legal term, which is it comes from the contract law, which is and it's actually a defense to the enforcement of a contract, which is when the purpose of the contract cannot be served because of some intervening action or occurrence that frustrates or makes that performance impossible. They raise the defense of frustration of purpose, and it applies to the mission and the impact of the mission upon the spiritual path. And then, if you find your purpose blocked, and you start feeling the frustration of the failure of your efforts and your energies that are not accomplishing what you want, then that sets off an energetic reaction within you. And it's that experience of the frustration of purpose that may be what your mission is about. Not anything that you're trying to do. The calling itself may be just dangling the carrot in front of you so that you can get these experiences. And you may never know, but you got to deal with what happens along the way. So again, it's going to challenge you to bring the best of what you have in every moment. And you can do that, and you may still fall flat on your face. I'm not going to sit here and tell you that doing any of this stuff is going to make you succeed, and it's going to make your purpose go out in the world and make you into a world teacher and fill your coffers with money and a life that's of the rich and famous. That may or may not be in the cards for you. And to be honest, it really doesn't matter to your soul, because your soul's really not concerned with what you accomplish in your life from an outer perspective. It's more focused upon what you accomplish within you, with what happens within that life. It's how you meet it. It's how you go about it and conduct your affairs. And again, when you're talking about your mission, what difference does it make? Not in terms of negating the effort that you're trying to accomplish, but really, what is the difference that your mission is making in your life or the lives of others? It's sort of a snapshot assessment that you take periodically to determine where you are along the way, and to adjust course accordingly if your intention changes or your desires change or your inspiration changes, or all of a sudden you may find that the inspiration doesn't come through anymore and you find yourself high and dry and just wondering, well, what do I do now? All of these are things that you will want to consider as your purpose unfolds and your efforts to fulfill that purpose take shape. So, as you look at your purpose and the calling it is inspiring you to make, is there a method to your madness? What's your approach to doing what you're doing? How are you going about it? And why are you choosing the things that you're choosing and not choosing the other things that may be other possibilities that may be out there? I mean, if you're advertising, why are you advertising if it's not working? Why do you keep beating your head against the same wall? If you're experiencing a blockage or an obstacle along the way, and you keep coming back at it, and you go to another, try something else and hit it again, and you turn it away another way and hit it again. What's it doing? What's it doing for you inside? Now, let's go to the specifics of your approach. What's working? What are you doing that is actually working? And what are you doing that isn't working? What are you not doing that might work? And why aren't you trying it? Again, you're trying to perfect an art form of awakened service. As an awakening server, you are awakening not only to the effort to serve, but to what is happening inside you with this effort. So as you go through it, these assessments are almost constant because you have to monitor yourself and monitor your efforts. And maybe they're going to make you into everything you want to be. And maybe they won't. And maybe your life, by going down the mission path, is flushing the rest of your life down the drain. Destroying relationships, family and friends. Ruining your financial position and making it so that you're into struggle and sacrifice. Or maybe it's creating ease for you. So again, it's not just about the impact, but how you meet the challenge of the effort. Now, so long as you feel the calling, and I say feel the calling because you're calling, the energy behind the calling, you can find yourself well down the path and realize that the inspiration isn't coming to you anymore, that it dropped you off somewhere way back and it's on you to go from there to where you are now. So maybe you've got to backtrack to where you were when you felt the inspiration and re-examine the choices that you make and the approaches you took to try something different. And this is all part of the process of finding a way. The sense of mission, if it get the sense of calling, if it is truly coming from within, will fill you with the energy that will tend to push you that you can't ignore. And that when you hit the wall, it will keep beating your head against that wall until you find a way around it or over it or under it or through it. Or realize that maybe headbanging isn't exactly what you signed up for, and that's not really what your soul's asking you to do anyway, and it's trying to get you to re-examine everything. Again, all of this has to do with the flow of the light into you and out of you into your world. How you create yourself, how do you create your reality, and what you add through those creative energies into your reality. It is important to get into the flow of that life, to understand where your life is flowing so that you're not trying to push the river or trying to swim upstream. If that is what you're doing, then you probably are having some challenges along the way. So get into the flow. What feels right? What is it about it that feels good and makes you want to keep doing it? And when you do it that way, that tends to work. And what doesn't? What are you doing that brings struggle or sacrifice or conflict? Again, these are all conditions of reality here that are part of our experience. So you got to recognize when you're having them and and whether this is the right thing for you to do is to continue within that experience or to try another way. It's about you and your life and the direction you're going. Now, your mission is going to be much more apt to succeed, to generate the results when it is in harmony with the life you have. And when it takes an about face or takes you in another direction or contrary to other people in your life, you're going to feel that your life is being ripped apart, and maybe you as well. So try to find the balance. Find the state where you are in harmony with your life and your mission is in harmony with it. If your mission is taking all of your energies and giving nothing back to your life and sapping you dry, maybe you're not in the right space for that. And you go back to check to see, are you in the flow? Are you feeling it? Is it doing what you want to do? Now, before I close, I want you to tell you that as a wanderer or an awakening server, you have a contribution to make to this reality. And I've tried to make this program so you can see that contribution in terms of what it's offering you. But again, it is important to see where your contribution fits within the whole, within the greater reality, so that you can use that perspective to make some of the choices that arise along the way. Maybe what you're doing is just for you, but I suspect it is something to contribute to the world, to nudge it in another direction, to ease the suffering or pain of others, to make their lives better, to fight the good fight, or not. Only you can decide what it's asking you to do and how you're going to do it. But understand that nobody else can do it for you. What you're called to do is specific to you, to your life, to why you are here in this moment. It's about your evolution. It's about your experiences. It's about your journey to oneness. And what this mission, this calling, this sense of purpose contributes to that process. If you need help with your mission, or understanding your sense of calling, or hearing the inner voice, check me out at johndennison.com. I'm there to help. That's it for today, folks. I appreciate you joining me. I hope to see you in times ahead, and especially on the path ahead. God bless you indeed. Go with love. You have been listening to the Red Pill Chronicles, where we help awakening souls move in a better way through a blue pill world. For more information, visit us at peaceoptions.com to explore how you can find your peace through knowing yourself and following your inner voice. Or at missionlaunch.com, where we offer coaching and consulting to help you make the difference in your world.